Welcome, everybody, to the FTI Podcast. I don't even know what episode number this is anymore, and who cares? Who's keeping track? Certainly not the maybe one people that are watching this, or listening to it. None of you. Hey guys, to boost the numbers, I'd love to get them as a sponsor. I hate the mirrored thing. It's a pain.
Do you number them when you put them up, or do you just?
I do. Yeah,
okay.
But I can never remember which one we're actually on.
When it's time to start the show, which one it is.
Yeah, it's.
So
I think there's actually like a missing episode too, which was one that it was our best episode too, and I think it was completely messed up, and so that one is the missing episode. That I have it. God, that editing was gonna make me want to like throw a computer through a wall.
So even though
not a good idea because computers are expensive, guys.
Discussed this before we went live. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, except for one thing that happened, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, it was fun. Tried out a new track. Got to go to my second drag race of my life, which it's really it's really weird when you go to like the pinnacle of drag racing. As Summit Motorsports Park is one of the top drag racing facilities, and then you go to just a normal little Saturday night drag strip, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is different.
Yeah, definitely a big difference there.
But it was really cool. There was a lot of different cars. It was so I'll just get to it. We went to Quaker City Motorsports Park in Salem, Ohio. Just maybe about a 45-minute drive from Akron, so it's pretty accessible. It was pretty cool. We got to see everything from junior dragsters to a 3-jet engine truck, which was really cool and really loud. I brought my ear protection. And then got to see 2 jet funny cars, so that was kind of cool. The only not cool thing that happened was a pretty horrible accident where a jet car, a jet dragster, was going down the strip for his first run, and he had a flyer. He was going 286 miles an hour at the line, which was actually like a lot faster than the other car that was with him, because the other dragster only went 212, so considerably faster. And unfortunately he lost control, and apparently he rolled over and crashed head on into the wall on the other side, and unfortunately he passed away because of his injuries due to the accident. So that was very unfortunate. You never want to be at any thing where someone passes away. It was one of those weird things where as soon as you saw the accident, you knew,
but was hoping not.
You knew that at best he was, extremely injured.
Yeah.
And there was no updates for at least an hour and a half. And this is down, maybe a little over a quarter of a mile down. So you couldn't really see what was going on too well, and I wasn't walking all the way down there. And then some rumors started to go around from some people that had went down and talked to some people, and then you saw two vans with undercover lights, but red and whites fly down the drag strip. And it was kind of like okay, that's not an ambulance that's coming, so that's not good. And then those vans flanked two passenger vehicles as they left, and everyone's clapping, and you're kind of like what's happening, and you're like, guys, you didn't see an ambulance leave, you didn't see a life flight land anywhere on the property. It's been an hour and 45 minutes and no ambulances left or came. That's normally not a good thing, because normally when something happens, they want to get them to the hospital as soon as possible, as soon as they extricate pretty quickly and get them going. And then they finally came over, the loudspeakers, and let everybody know. And they said that his son, who was there, wanted the show to go on because that's what his father would have wanted. And they took another like hour and a half to repair the wall and clean up some jet fuel and the remains of the car. And then they continued, and the first run was the jet truck, and that was amazing. The guy dedicated his run to the guy, and it was the rest of the night went out without a hitch. His the guy that passed, his teammate, they were out of Chicago, and they're on the same team. It was the guy that made the run with him earlier in the day. He was supposed to make another run, and he fired up his car and did all the shooting the flames and stuff out and all that, and then his car he wasn't turning on the yellow stage lights, and then he ended up just shutting it off. And the announcer came on with some excuse where the stage lights just weren't setting, there was a malfunction, so he had to shut it off. And like, okay, you're going down the strip by yourself, you don't need the stage lights to make a run. And so they he gets out, and everybody's applauding and everything, and then they bring the pull truck back down, and as he's taking him down the strip, you can see in where his parachutes go that they're not even set, they're not even packed and ready. So I mean, I get it. I think people would have understood if he just said,
just didn't run at all.
Just didn't run at all, or just said that he would come and do, like the fire show, and not make a run. This is a guy who, obviously they were on the same team, so they probably spent a lot of time together, and friends and stuff, and to be probably down there when his friend passed, nobody would have faulted him to just say, hey, I'm not doing it because of this. But nonetheless, it was, he still gave the show to the fans, and then the jet truck came back out and did his thing, which was freaking cool. But other than that, the whole thing was amazing. It was my parents' second time, or my mom's second time. My dad had went a lot when he was a kid to drag races, and this was Caden and Josie's second time going. Was really cool because at the NHRA event we went to this year, I wasn't able to get really to I think I could have probably went to the start line, but I didn't, which probably wasn't going to go to the start line for the top fuels at all, because that would have been enough to make you, crap your pants. But it was really cool. So we went up to the wet pad and everything, and that was amazing. I put an alcohol wipe to my face at the end of the night, and it was completely black. It was disgusting of all the tire, all the rubber, I
think the same thing happened when we were at Summit when we got back to the campground that night. I had wiped my face, and it was my Saturday was much less eventful. I went to Wayne County for I don't know what, that's got to be my 5th or 6th time there this year. For the fast sprint car series. I kept wanting to call it Boss. That's the wingless sprints. But ended up meeting
Does that mean Boss is coming up this weekend? Because normally they run in succession.
No, Boss. I think the next Boss is the 19th. I think this is just a Fast 5 show this weekend. But ended up meeting up with our friend Joe. Baggett Media. I had Dirt Baggett Media. I had no idea he was coming, and I'm standing off on my own, just like, off in my own little world, like I normally am.
We all know how you are when you're by yourself. You don't talk to anyone. It's me, surprisingly, the introvert that hates people that talks to everyone. I guess I'm just a little less introverted than you are.
And I'm leaning up against the guardrail because as I'm coming down one of the main roads into the track, it started raining. Like we were talking before, 10% chance of rain that day down in Orville. And I think there was one rain cloud that decided to open up just over Orville. And that delayed it for 2.5 hours. So I was just kind of leaning up against the guardrail as you would go up into the track, watching them, work the track in a little bit. And someone said something, and I look over, and there's Joe. Just like, oh, hey, why aren't you at Sharon tonight? He's like, oh, I wasn't going to do the pure stocks or whatever they were at Sharon that night. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, you can hang out with me tonight. And we ended up hanging out, and both left after the fast feature because at that point, I think it was midnight or 11:30, something like that. And I was like, I don't care to stay, which turns out after I posted the pictures this week, I should have stayed, because this is the one time somehow people have seen the pictures we've taken there.
Yeah, and then we received like 2 messages of people wanting pictures, and you're just like, no, sorry, I left.
Yeah, because they had one, like, I don't know, 10-lap, what's the word, heat race, and I think I had run to the bathroom during one of them, and just completely missed all of that. I think they were both modified drivers, and it's like, oh, well, I'll come out, I might come out this week and make sure I get some modified pictures, because everyone deserves some cool looking ones, because there's just some people that I don't think try sometimes.
Yeah, that has to be a long drive for Joe going back to Youngstown.
Yeah, it's like an hour. So it's like us driving out to Sharon. So
yeah.
Which, I mean, at that time of night, I had been up all day running around and doing stuff. I was just like, oh, I want to go home. But track was so wet. They had anyone with a side-by-side or a four-wheeler out trying to run the track in.
Yes, I saw you took pictures of some people.
It was too funny not to take a picture of that family on the side-by-side coming straight down the straightaway at us.
If I would have had my side by side there, you and I would have been out there.
We tried the new spot, the runway onto the track this week. It was a lot of fun until the mud started flying. It would definitely be a lot more fun once the track's worked in a little bit. You do get the cool pictures of the mud flying and things like that, but you're standing there and you're taking the picture and you're putting your camera down real quick to make sure it's not getting hit with, your lens isn't getting hit with mud as it's flying at you. But yeah, decent night, pretty uneventful. Wayne County's always fun. I can't remember his first name, but Spithauler, the a blue-ish turquoise car that's at every event we've been to in Ohio this year. We finally got to see him.
Every dirt event.
Yeah, every dirt event he's been at, and
he's racing. He raced INDYCAR this year. He raced some
Yeah.
trucks. He did some dragsters. I mean, this guy's everywhere.
But all the sprint car events this year he's been at, and I don't know if he's qualified for any of. Oh no, I think he's qualified for him. But being a local
might
guy,
be his second win of the year.
Yeah, he won at somewhere, Attica or something last weekend. So I think 2 in a row for him. I think he is leading the fast sprint points right now. So,
oh dang, that's nice.
Yeah,
I always seem to be drawn to that car to take pictures of it.
It's just the color, I think.
Yeah, and we're so familiar with it.
Yeah,
at this point, it's like, oh yeah, you have to take a mental inventory when you're editing pictures, especially when we had that the World of Outlaws and. Well, was he at World of Outlaws too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we saw him on Tuesday, and then we would see him on Saturday, and I had to do which track am I looking at? Because it's the same driver.
You just look at the color of the dirt. Is it brown or red?
Yeah.
But big racing this weekend. We'll just F1. Sure, we always start with that one.
Now I have to say, I am a McLaren fan. In both of their series, they have 4 series that they race in. But who cares about the electric too? We care about the ones with at least a V6. Can't have V8s or V10s or V12s anymore because people are not fun. But McLaren up there again.
Second podium in a row.
In the top 5, both of them again.
Yeah, whatever they found.
And Lando in second again. Did he get second last week? Yeah. With his signature champagne pop that destroyed a $45,000 trophy. So that's fun.
The look on his face when he did that, and then just
gave
continued
no
spraying the champagne was perfect.
And then maybe it's the facial hair that he grew.
Yeah,
he's doing better now. The team's doing better. He's got the horrible little goatee.
You had Pato doing the same champagne.
Yeah,
smash.
it's a McLaren thing. They must have a champagne school. I swear, if Felix Rosenquist or Rossi gets up there and they don't do it, I'm gonna be pissed. Be like, come on, it's a McLaren thing. No other driver does it.
Yeah, like we said,
that's
what time?
Well, if Piastri gets up there, he's got to do a shoey because that's the Australian thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we have to get Will Power if he wins this year. He needs to do a shoey. But talking about Australians, Daniel Ricciardo's first time
First race
back out,
yeah,
finished 13th.
with damage,
Yeah, that's not bad.
having not been in a car in months, and
And outperforming his teammate by 2 spots.
yeah. I mean, I think it's now pressure on Yuki to perform. I saw.
I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, it's great to see Danny Rick back in a car, and hopefully he does good the rest of the season to earn his spot next year. Even though I wish they would just boot him out so then we can have him here in America in IndyCar.
At this point, I don't know if we ever will.
Probably not. They're just going to keep stealing him. Now Red Bull has him. They're never going to let him go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I saw a TikTok today about this being an audition between the non-Max 3 other Red Bull drivers to
I mean,
see who is getting
Perez
that
has been pretty consistent.
But do you deserve the seat if your teammate in the same car is beating you every week?
Well, it is Max Verstappen.
Yes.
It's, how many times does Russell... Okay, maybe that's not a good example.
Yes.
It's not the greatest example. Because Russell's beat Hamilton a few times, I think, this year.
Well, yeah, I saw another
But it would be great to have unfortunately Max doesn't run the 33 anymore because he runs the number 1, but it was always nice having the 33 and 3. It was nice having 3 and 4 when he was at McLaren. I like good number groupings for a team. Will Power's 12 drives me nuts. You don't match. There's no number 4 in IndyCar, is there?
I don't think so. But yeah, I did not wake up to watch that race because I didn't get home from Wayne County till either, I think, 12:15 or 1:15. I don't know what time it was, but I didn't fall asleep till 3:30 in the morning, so did not get up to watch that race.
Yeah, we got to Quaker at 2, and I think it was after midnight when we left. It was a long, hot day. So that's F1. I have no clue where they might be on summer break.
I forget. Every year I forget that they do that.
Oh, they have another there. Oh, it's okay. They're going to be at Spa-Francorchamps this weekend. And that is it. Yeah, and then they're
Spa.
on summer break. So yeah, Spa, and then the Dutch Grand Prix, Max Verstappen's home race. So yeah, moving on to IndyCar.
Iowa Joseph Newgarden High V weekend.
Wait, okay.
What?
So Scott McLaughlin. No, Alex Palou was up. Okay. Never mind. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, so what the hell am I trying to say? Roman Grosjean didn't crash out.
He did not. He actually finished both races. I think 11th and 12th or something. It was like, 11th and 12th. Saturday 11th.
Yeah, and then you had
Sunday 12th.
Sunday you had Malukas finishing 8th. That's not bad.
He ran really good all day on Sunday, if I remember correctly, because both days I got to watch most of the race because I was having internet issues Sunday afternoon. But yeah, I mean, Joseph
So
Newgarden.
wait, on
think
Sunday,
I heard
was that last 10 lap incident? Was that for Rob Stingray, or did that happen earlier in the race?
that happened earlier in the race. Someone spun.
Okay, so was it Benjamin Peterson?
Yes.
So my mom was, so we were swimming because I was like, it's hot, and my mom was up watching the race, and she was like, it's 10 laps to go and there's a yellow flag, and I was like, was it Stingray Rob Benjamin Peterson?
Now I gotta, speaking of Rob, that move everyone made to miss that tire was amazing.
Yeah, that was, I saw all the clips of that, and that was insane.
I mean,
how bad that could have gone.
Yeah, it was. That was nuts that no one hit that tire. And, we had a repeat of Indy and Snowball. That was the name of the car, right?
I think so. I think that was the name of the car.
But yeah, pretty uneventful 2 days.
Yeah,
I think there was one
for the IndyCar races, for the 2 previous ones that were on ovals that were pretty good races. These 2 just kind of seemed lackluster. I just don't think the IndyCars perform well on a smaller oval.
Yeah.
I think they're good super speedway cars. Texas is a super speedway, right?
It's a mile and a half. So,
well, isn't that what Daytona is?
Daytona's 2.5.
Daytona's 2. Oh, 2.5.
And then Talladega's 2.6.
Yeah, because what's Iowa? Iowa's a shorter track.
7/8.
Oh yeah, that's tiny.
I do have to say, Hy-Vee goes all out for that race, and it looks like it would be a blast to go to.
Hey, Hy-Vee, do you want to sponsor? Do you want to take over Honda for Mid Ohio? We'll have you.
Well, that was. I was listening before we started today. I was listening to our new friend from Mid Ohio, Kyle and David Land's podcast, and Kyle had brought up, and I think we talked about this at Mid Ohio, was bring back Burke Lakefront. And I think we've mentioned that probably 100 times on our handful of.
I am still team downtown Cleveland.
But he was saying
Rock Hall,
Burke Lakefront, and have the Rock Hall sponsor it, do like a 2-for-1 ticket deal.
Hell, at this point, we can put it in Canton and have the Rock and Roll or the Football Hall of Fame sponsor it.
But
be like, hey, it's not football, but hey, you want to sponsor it? You guys have enough money.
The Hy-Vee stores in and around that area of the track, they have big displays with everything, and I think it's probably from David Land that I've seen him in the previous years, where he'll post the huge displays they have in the stores, and they'll have die casts and this and that, and obviously you see everything behind me. I love that kind of stuff.
So I think I've seen it too in the past that they've made like a whole convenience store in the track.
Yeah, they probably
like
do.
They've just made one.
But I mean,
what is Hy-Vee?
A grocery store.
Is it? Oh, okay, it's a grocery store.
But I mean,
it's employee owned. Interesting.
4 big concerts this weekend. Carrie Underwood, Zach Brown Band, Ed Sheeran, and I don't remember the fourth one, but I mean, you had big concerts all weekend, and they built brand new like VIP stands and everything. I mean, they've gone all out for that race, and I think more tracks need to learn from
Ed
that.
Sheeran's really the odd one out in this bunch.
Yeah.
You have Carrie Underwood, Kenny Chesney.
Oh yeah, Kenny Chesney,
Zach Brown Band, and Ed Sheeran.
Well,
one of these things is not like the other.
And all that country's just pop music too. So
what's Kenny Chesney doing in the middle of Iowa? Why is he not on a beach somewhere?
They all have acoustic guitars, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, you had Ed Sheeran being the grand marshal or the starter for Sunday's race too.
Yeah, I mean everything I saw online, it looked like it was a good time, a good weekend. So yeah, I think more tracks need to take note, and bring those things, and we could kind of segue into NASCAR with that, because after listening to Door Bumper Clear and the Teardown, both of them said the atmosphere at Pocono this weekend was the same way.
I see your favorite driver won.
Oh yeah, don't worry. That the notes I showed you before we started, that it's mainly all of that.
Oh boy.
Did you watch the race at all, or get to see any of the highlights or anything?
I on TikTok I saw that Joey Logano is a crying little boy.
Yeah, we'll start there.
But that's pretty much the only thing that I saw about it. So, and that the victory lane is really cold and dark now, and not real warm and inviting.
The next gen car with the new wheel and tire setup, if you lose all 4 tires, it's pretty much not race over, but you're going laps down. You've got to be towed back to the pits because you're beached. And happened to Joey, he won stage 1. Felix,
seems you have a gremlin.
1 second.
Please hold for dog difficulties. Don't worry, folks. We don't support dog fights. They just fight on their own. My dog is over here. My dog just... You better not hop up on me because you are gigantic.
Okay.
Got my giant cow over here.
I think I got that figured out. They were just wrestling on the bed. Felix is the referee that doesn't let him fight too dirty. He has to yell at them. My 2 bigger dogs were fighting, and he has to get in there and try and yell at them.
The little dog syndrome.
Yes. But yeah, back to the next gen car, they get beached. They go, laps down because they have to get towed. He's trying to get them to tow because they're trying to push him. It's heat of the moment. He's in the car yelling them, MFing them, SOBing them, and everything under the sun. Which, I mean, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the race, you kind of can't blame him. He's a competitor. He's very fiery guy on the track. But and then afterwards, after the race, he's saying, well, why don't we put 4 tires on the car or on the tow truck, and they can put 4 tires on, and I can roll back to pit lane. And it's like,
that's not how things work.
yeah, and it's like, well, then
they're supposed to carry your donuts for you.
Yeah, are they? That becomes, well, what tires?
Let's
are
just
they
get run
using?
flats, okay?
What happens when the guy that doesn't know exactly how to lift the NASCAR stock car, and he damages your underbody?
Well, we just get air jacks. Put air jacks on them.
Man, they're hyper today. But I'm gonna let him out of the room real quick. 1 second. Okay, no more distractions. Hopefully not Felix. 1 second. Felix can't be away from me, so as soon as I locked them out, he was scratching at the door. I don't know if that was coming through, but it was loud on my end.
What is that? Newton or Ramona that came in?
Newton. These two follow me around the house at all times. Like, they're my constant shadows. The other two, they'll go play with my roommate's dogs. But yeah, I mean, I understand what Joey wants. You don't want to drive the car back because you're going to ruin the car. You don't want to tow it back because you're also going to ruin the car and go laps down. And he says it's a rough ride and all that kind of stuff. But there's no simple fix to it.
I mean, he should be grateful because in NASCAR, at least they let you continue.
Yeah.
In F1 or INDYCAR, that's your race. You would be done. If you lose all 4 tires, you're done. You're not running anymore. They're just going to hook you up to the tow truck and put you in the little graveyard in the side. And that's where you're going to sit for, the rest of the race. So he should be lucky that he even gets a chance to go back.
Yeah. Continue on with the race. Other little incidents in the race. Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick. Dillon comes down on Reddick, and Austin Dillon, he just ran out of talent. Reddick held his line, and Dillon ran out of the talent he has. We'll just put it that way. And Austin Dillon, grandpa owns the team, throws a temper tantrum and tries to pull a Tony Stewart and throw his helmet as Reddick comes back by in the caution laps, completely whiffs the throw, makes himself look like an idiot. So now you're out there, a wreck you caused on your own. You're mad about it. You go, you're going to try and show him who's boss, and you throw your helmet. And I mean, it looked like when they have like a pop star throw the first pitch at a baseball game, it just goes straight into the ground and bounces up.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that on TikTok, and that was a wussy throw. And then, so does NASCAR actually do anything about that, or are they just, oh, whatever? That has to be like
he might get
condition.
A penalty. Yeah, he might get something for going out onto the racing surface and stuff like that. But I don't know, penalty enough just to look that bad,
Yeah,
that wimpy.
I've seen tens of people throwing helmets over the years of working and spectating at short tracks. And it just never makes sense to me.
They're so expensive, and I mean those NASCAR helmets have got to be
Why
a
throw
few
your helmet?
grand.
Throw your damn steering wheel if you're gonna throw something.
Yeah,
At least that's pretty durable. It's just metal and some rubber on it. Like, your helmet is pretty important. And what we would do, especially if I worked there, the next week we would inspect and be like, oh, so did you get a new helmet? Because that one's not usable anymore.
yeah.
You can't just throw your helmet and expect it to be still race approved.
Yeah, I mean, all of that, the throw, the temper tantrum, and I mean, it's got to be embarrassing for Austin Dillon. He's 30th in points right now. His teammate, Kyle Busch, brand new to the team, is 6th in points with 3 wins. I mean, it's got to be a little embarrassing to be Austin Dillon right now. You're driving for Grandpa's team. You're probably getting the best stuff available, and you're 30th in points while your teammate has 3 wins this season. But yeah, on to, you already brought it up. Denny winning the race. Did you happen to see the wreck with him and Larson at all?
I did not.
So he pulls the last year at Pocono. He wrecks Ross Chastain for the win. Drives him up into the wall. Ross makes contact with the wall. Denny goes on to win. Almost photocopy this year of Denny driving Kyle up into the wall. Do you blame him for this? You're racing for the win. These wins are getting farther and fewer between, but don't deny that you did it after you did it. When there's evidence, when NBC is playing 6 different replays of this and you see the cars touching and go, you still can't be like, oh, I didn't touch him. I took his arrow away.
Yeah, just own it. Like,
it's just, he's on his podcast today saying, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't touch him.
oh, great. Another one of him whining.
Yeah, I mean, you laughed at me a couple, it was one of our first episodes where I had listened to that, and I did. It's not a bad podcast. Denny is a great driver, but it's always whining. He's now, I don't know about this year, but he's had a run-in with at least 3 of the 4 Hendrick drivers. And if we're including last year, all 4 of them. But every time it's not Denny's fault. But Denny runs Kyle into the wall. Kyle may get fined for this one after the wreck. Up on caution, he comes up and runs Denny up kind of towards the wall. I don't remember if Denny actually hit the wall, but Kyle comes up and runs Denny into the wall. But after the caution, I mean, he had nothing for Denny to do that. It was listening to his radio. Cliff Daniels is on there, his crew chief, the best motivational speaker in the world, just telling him, oh, you need to go back and get him. And that's like cardinal sin number 1, is not to say the stuff over the radio.
Yeah,
so
that's a dumb move.
It was just another one of those. He could have continued. It was just one of those moves where it's like, you could have just kept racing, but I think he got impatient with it and just ran him up into the wall. This is just a couple laps after he had contact with Bowman, and I mean Bowman was running up front in that final stage, and a guy who's had bad luck all year can't get a good finish at all. I'm not saying that as a homer, he's my driver and everything, but the guy can't catch any luck, especially after the sprint car crash. And this is the third week in a row he's had a run-in with Denny, and it's almost like Denny last year had all kinds of run-ins with Ross. It's like Denny's the new Ross this year. So, you had then final closing laps of the race at one restart. I want to say it was for the Bowman wreck, and 2 laps to go. Green white. I don't know if it was green white checkered. It's all a blur at this point. But Ryan Pierce spins with 2 laps to go. And it looks like just a lonely, lazy spin, one car. He gets down towards the apron, and NBC's, showing him trying to start it. He can't get it started. And everyone's waiting for him to throw the yellow flag, because we all know NASCAR isn't afraid to throw a yellow flag for, a better ending. And they just, according to people in the stands, the flagman had the yellow flag and withdrew the yellow flag to throw the white flag. Denny takes the white flag, and as they're coming around, Pierce hasn't started moving again, so they just threw the caution and, kind of robbed the fans of maybe a good finish, a green-white checker to finish the race out. I mean, it was kind of one of those ones that, maybe if Pierce hadn't started moving, you should have thrown the yellow flag, because you never know what could happen. Even if, it's the white flag lap and blah, blah, blah. But, it's kind of one of those ones where he's stranded down towards the apron. The car's not rolling or moving.
I mean, there's been a lot of bad wrecks at last lap. Was it Dale Earnhardt's wreck was a last lap?
Throw the caution. It hasn't stopped you before, and it's one of those ones where there's no winning for NASCAR in that situation. You throw the flag, and then you got people saying, "Oh, you just wanted that scripted ending. You wanted that green white checkered, hoping you can milk it for something." Martin Truex was charging right there with Denny. You had Kyle he had fallen back, but he's pissed off. You've got Willie B up there too, maybe to avenge his teammate, and you had the setup for a potential, crazy green white checker, but you also get all the complaints for those scripted endings, or trying to make a more exciting ending, and you don't get it. So it's a win-lose situation. But one last thing about with NASCAR this week, the shocker of Justin Haley signing to Rick Ware Racing, leaving Colleague to go to Rick Ware Racing.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to join
RWR
Rick Ware Racing. Yeah.
Well, it was a contract year for Haley. He didn't have a contract yet. Everything I was reading last week, because I wouldn't want to leave Colleague Racing. I mean, they seem to be one of the up and coming teams. They, in previous years, short of this year with JGR dominating, they've dominated the Xfinity Series. But there's a lot of Xfinity drivers coming up that could take that spot. You've got all the rumors of Shane Van Gisbergen wanting to come over and race NASCAR next year. So maybe Colleague's a player in that. But I think this is the first big silly season stone to drop that we could see
minus Josh Berry.
Yeah, Josh Berry. See that one wasn't really.
It was inevitable that he was going to get a seat.
Yeah, and
after his performance,
you kind of
the number one
prospect
substitute driver of the year.
But you kind of you kind of saw coming, and that was like a slow burn for the announcement. We all kind of knew weeks ahead of time. It was just one of those ones that no one saw the Ricardo news a couple weeks, or was it last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
No, that was it was kind of out of left field, like.
And that was the same with this one. I mean, it was just kind of like, what? You going to Rick Ware Racing? I mean, it's kind of a smart move on both parts. If Colleague was dragging their feet to re-sign him, maybe he wasn't going to have a seat next year. So, you get it, and rumor is it's a long-term or a multi-year deal. So, you at least have a couple more years of racing, and RWR has formed an alliance with RFK, Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. So I mean there were some things that you can understand. Rick Ware has taken some steps this year and trying to get better, bringing in Ryan Newman for a few races and Cole Custer, both come from well-established teams. Now Ryan Newman's been out for a year, but you're bringing in guys from well-established teams that can not only tell you like how your car is, but how your team is doing. Newman raced for Roush Fenway before Keselowski, and then Custer coming from Stuart Haas. Yeah, you get an idea of, they can help you and say, hey, this is what we did over there. Maybe you can try something like that. So all in all, could be either the move of the century to, Rick Ware maybe becomes not a powerhouse, but a solid middle of the pack team, or could just be, he runs a couple more years at a, tail end team and quietly fades off, or, but yeah, with, if you don't have the contract yet, you take what you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. This weekend, no IndyCar. You said we have Spa and NASCAR's at Richmond. So plenty of payback could come this weekend for the incidents at Pocono. I forgot to even mention Ryan Pierce charging Corey LaJoie's car after the race. You about climbed into LaJoie's window trying to get at him. So it could be a very exciting weekend at Richmond. I know.
Do you mean Ryan Preece?
Preece, yes.
Because I was like,
I kept calling Pierce, right? Yes, because
and I was like, who the hell is Ryan Pierce? I had to look through here. I was like,
the whole time I was like, why does that sound wrong to me? Yes, you're right. But yeah, I mean, a lot of revenge can happen at the short track of Richmond, even though usually Richmond tends to be kind of a boring race. But we'll see.
So we will not have an episode next week, as I will be on vacation. And I actually might be going to a racetrack on vacation. And it wasn't my idea. It was my dad's idea, so we can get away with it.
Sure. Blame him. I was actually there while you guys were trying to plan it, so
Yeah. So we might go to so we'll be going to the home of
Both struggling today.
yeah. So so we're gonna go to possibly the home of the Snowball Derby, Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, or which is an asphalt track. Which what size is it? How big is this track? I think it's like a half mile. Yeah, it's a half mile oval track. Wow, it's been open since 1953 with 15-degree banking on its corners. Or we might go to Southern Raceway, which is like a 3/8 dirt track in Milton, Florida. So probably go to Five Flags
Have
because
fun with
there's nothing really good.
asphalt as much as like we've gotten used to dirt and our one experience with an asphalt oval this year.
Yeah.
But it is always fun going to a new track.
Yeah, and then the other track, I looked at their schedule and doesn't look like they actually have any sprints or anything, so it'd be kind of boring watching just like not sprints on dirt.
That's why I didn't go to Sharon this past weekend, even though it was one of their bigger events. There was no sprints.
Like, I would rather watch asphalt late models than dirt late models. There's more carnage in asphalt.
Yeah, true. Do we
Where you
want to do picks for next week, or if I do anything, I'll probably go out to Wayne again, just because we had those requests for pictures. It's only a half an hour from my house, and honestly, I just love that track. I'd say it's probably become one of my. I mean, I haven't been to as many as you, but it definitely is just like it. It feels like home. Everyone there super nice. All the employees, all the racers.
it is really fun there. The times that I've went, I had a blast. It's just got that, it's that home track feel.
It's that Saturday night track that you take the whole family to and just enjoy a Saturday night of racing. So yeah, if I do anything this weekend, I'll probably just go down to Wayne again and keep working on snapping dirt pictures because they're always the most fun and exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if I am taking my cameras on vacation with me because I'm trying to get some dolphin pictures. Shooting animals, it will be fun. Not shooting dolphins. Taking pictures of dolphins.
Yeah.
Don't come at me, Florida wildlife. But yeah, so maybe I'll take my camera with me and get some shots of some race cars. Sorry, my dogs are now going insane.
They're like, all right, you two have been talking for too long. Mine is licking my leg right now like a weirdo.
Oh, jeez. That's
Felix
horrible.
is just licking my leg. Yeah, anything else this week?
I think that's it. We started on a dark note and we're ending on a more positive note.
That's a good thing. So yeah, enjoy your vacation. I mean, I'm sure I'll talk to you throughout the entire thing, but we can act like we don't talk.
I'll I'll be boozed the whole week. It'd be great. I won't get a concussion this year.
Yeah, don't do that.
That was a few times. One year I got a concussion because I fell on the pool deck because I was intoxicated. And then the second time I cut my fingernail off while trying to cut some raw steak up. I don't think I've gotten hurt the last few years, so
Well, that's
we're
good.
we're on a good track, or I'm due.
Yeah.
Who knows? I had a sinus infection last year, so that was annoying.
Man, no vacations allowed for you.
No, they're all dangerous, or I'm sick. It sucks.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks then, or
See everybody in
whenever
2 weeks.
whenever we see you again.
Whenever we're back.
All right. Later.